every Monday from 7:30 Singapore time to 8:30 p.m. Singapore time. Okay, so if you are interested, you can join every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Now, today we are going to start with fractions. Why fractions? Because fractions is one of the most important component of the mathematics, which is going to appear in all the future topics that we are going to do. So fractions, today we are going to do manipulation of fractions, and we are going to do operation of fractions if the time permits. Manipulation of fractions is more important in the beginning. From now on itself, if you understand it properly, it is going to help you a lot with your future questions or future calculations. The more you understand, the easier it will become for you to simplify and to work with the fractions. So let's dive into it. Let me share my screen with all of you so that we can start all this. Okay, so I have my screen over here. So what we are going to do here is, today we are going to see quick basics of fraction that we all know we are going to need to know. So fraction is some whole number a over another whole number b. So we all know this is called a numerator, and this is called a denominator. Okay, so we all know this basics because we have done it in fifth grade, sixth grade, depending on when you started fractions. But at the same time, we need to establish our terminology. So I'm going to say this is a is numerator, b is denominator, and both of them are whole numbers. Okay, for now, once we learn rational numbers, there are going to be negative numbers also. I'm not scaring you, but yes, there are going to be negative numbers. So when we get into fractions, we have two types of fractions. Okay, two types of fractions are, first is proper fraction. Actually, three types of fractions: proper fractions and improper fractions, which lead to something called as mixed fractions. Okay, so those who have done fractions diligently, they all know what this means, but just to revise, we will quickly see what is a proper fraction. So in case of a proper fraction, your numerator a, it's smaller than your denominator b. Okay, so what are the typical examples of a proper fraction? 4 by 5, 3 by 4, 1 by 2, 9 by 10. These are all proper fractions because their numerators are smaller than their denominators. So they are called proper fractions. Now then we have something called as an improper fraction, where your numerator is greater than your denominator. So let's say 7 by 6, 5 by 3, 10 by 7. These are all improper fractions. Now an improper fraction can be converted into something called as a mixed fraction. How do we do that? So let's take our fraction 7 by 6. So my 7 by 6 fraction, I'm going to divide my 7 with a 6. So it's 1 times 6. 1 comes as a remainder. So my 7 by 6 can be written as 1 whole. So this thing will come here. Okay. Then 1. So this thing will come here. And then our 6. This thing will come here. Okay. So quotient, remainder, and your denominator of the fraction, or in this case the divisor of the fraction. So you divided 7 by 6 into 1 by 6. Okay, let's take something that is not 1 everywhere. So let's say I have 10 by 7. Okay, so for 10 by 7, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 10 over here, 7 over here, and then all of you know your 7 tables, right? There is no 10 in 7's table. So we are going to do 7, not 7, sorry, 1, and we are going to put a 7 over here. Now the mistake that I did happened because my brain is thinking faster than my hand. So if you want to avoid these kind of mistakes, learn to match the speed of your brain with your hands. It is difficult now, but if you keep on practicing consistently, this is going to happen slowly. So either you slow down your brain or either you start writing faster. I think starting to write faster is easier than slowing down our brain, because we don't have that much time in the exams to slow down our brain. But you can start writing faster. Initially your handwriting will be all messed up, but slowly as your hand gets used to writing faster, you will be able to write it properly, and these kind of mistakes can be avoided, and you will save a lot of marks when these things happen. Okay, anyways, so 10 minus 7 is 3. So my whole is a 1, which is my quotient. Then my remainder is a 3, which is my remainder. Oh sorry, my numerator is a 3, which is my remainder, and then my denominator, which is 7. Now similarly, we can convert our improper fractions with mixed fractions into improper fractions. So let's say I have 2 3 by 4. So what I will do is, first I will multiply 2 times 4, then I will add this 3 and then put a denominator here. So I will get 2 times 4 is 8, 8 plus 3 over 4. Okay, we'll do one more, this is from mixed to improper. Okay, it's quite fun when you do have this manipulation of numbers, right? Manipulation of numbers is a lot of fun if you can do them quickly. So challenge yourself, give yourself some numbers and start doing them as quickly as possible. You may go wrong initially, but slowly you will start getting faster and faster, and the fun in it is going to increase. So try this at home, give yourself any random numbers and then see what your how your speed goes. Okay, so let's say I have 3 1 by 5. So I'll take the 3, I will multiply it with my denominator, so this becomes my whole into my divisor plus my remainder, the whole over my divisor, which is equal to 15 plus 1 by 5, which is equal to 16 by 5. Now, mathematically, whenever you get an answer for any kind of question in improper form, you have to convert that into mixed fractions. So this manipulation from mixed fractions to improper and from improper to mixed is very important. So if you have any doubt in these kind of questions, you can drop a comment below this video and I will make a video again explaining this combination. But still, for now, we can move ahead and we can go to manipulation of fractions. Next one is simple fractions or simplified versions of fractions. Actually, it's not simplified version, it's simplest form of the fraction. Okay, so it is simplest form. So let's say I have a fraction 10 by 8. Now if you see, 10 can be written as 5 times 2, whereas 8 can be written as 4 times 2. So both of them have a 2 common in them. So what we are going to do is, we are going to make sure that we cancel these 2 and we only have 5 by 4. So simplest form is the form where numerator and denominator do not have any common factor. Okay, we have done factors and multiples in previous video. So if you're not sure what factors and multiples are, I will share the link of the playlist below, so you can visit the playlist and see what factors and multiples are. Now, other way we can say that your numerator and denominator in a simplest form, the numbers have to be co-prime. Okay, so co-prime means they do not, again, they do not have a common factor. So next, let's say we have 16 by 36. Okay, so 16 is 4 times 4, whereas 36 is 9 times 4. So I'm going to cross 4 and 4, and I get 4 by 9. So now this is my simplest form, because there is nothing else I can remove from both the numbers, from the numerator and the denominator, to make it more simple. Okay, that is why it is called the simplest form. They never say it is a simpler form, it is simplest form. So let's see one more example, and then we will move to the equivalent form. Okay, so let's say I have 35 over 15. 35 is 7 times 5, 15 is 3 times 5. So that we cancel the 5 and 5 out, and we get 7 by 3. Now this fraction specifically is a improper fraction, so we are going to convert it into 1 by 4, which is its improper form. Similarly, for 7 by 3, we are going to write, it is going to be 2 1 by 3. So writing a improper fraction in mixed fractions is very, very important. Most of the time when you get answer in improper fraction, you have to convert it into mixed fractions. That is how we write it mathematically. One more thing I want to emphasize right now, because we are learning fractions, that's whatever you are learning, whatever rules I'm going to teach you or we are going to learn over here, these rules will apply to everything that is related to factors in the fractions in the future. Okay, so even you get fractions in geometry, even if you get fractions in algebra, all these rules are still going to be applicable, and algebra and geometry will add their own rules on top of these rules. So it is not like you get fractions in geometry and completely the rules are going to change. Basic rules of arithmetic will always remain the same, whether you do geometry, you do algebra, you do statistics, you do probability, you do calculus, anything that you do in the future, the basic rules of your arithmetic are going to remain the same. So you have to very well understand this, that these rules are always going to remain the same. Repeat it with me. These rules are always going to remain the same. They will remain the same even if they are in geometry or even if they are in algebra. Okay, this is very important that you remember this. Okay, you'll do that for me, right? Okay, now after this, we are going to do something called as equivalent form. So what does equivalent form mean? It is exactly opposite of the simplest form that we did. So let's say I have a fraction which is 2 by 3. So if I take this 2 by 3 and multiply its numerator with a 2, we have to multiply the denominator also with the 2. So you have to remember that whenever we have a fraction, if you multiply the numerator with some value, you have to multiply the denominator with the same value. You cannot change the value on in the denominator or have a different number in the denominator, otherwise you will change the actual value of the fraction, which is not required or which is not the right thing to do. So whenever, remember this, whenever you are multiplying anything with the numerator, you have to do the same thing with the numerator. This is only applicable for multiplication and division. This is not applicable for addition and subtraction. It is only applicable for multiplication and division. So 2 by 2 is 4 by 6. 2 by 3 will become 4 by 6. So now if you see, if I try to simplify this thing, I will still get 2 by 3. Okay, or let's say 2 by 3 can be written as 2 times 3 over 3 times 3. So I'll get 6 by 9. If I simplify this one, I'm still going to get 2 by 3. So if I try to simplify my equivalent form, I should always get the basic or the simplest form, that from which we have derived the equivalent form. Okay, now this rule is very, very important when we are going to learn about addition and subtraction of fractions. Okay, and this only happens when there is no other operation on the fraction, like we have a standalone fraction like this. Then only when we are doing multiplication or division of fractions, they already tell us that they already tell us what kind of operation we have to do, and we have to just follow with the instructions of the operation. Okay, so now okay, so what we are going to do is, let me see, is there anything else in manipulation that we have to cover? Okay. Okay, so let's say I will say that I have a fraction 5 by 4, and I have to express it with something 24, with a denominator 24. That means whatever operation I have done on the denominator, I have to do the same operation on the numerator. So 24 is what? 24 is 4 times 6. Okay, so I know that I multiplied my denominator with 6, so I have to multiply by numerator also by 6. So this becomes 30 over 24. Okay, let's say I have 10 over 15. Okay, and I have to go with a denominator of 21. So I know 21 is not included in table of 15. So what I'm going to do, I'm first going to convert this one into its simplest form. So what is the simplest form of 10 over 5? It is 5 times 2 over 5 times 3. Okay, so my actual fraction is 2 by 3. Now can I convert my 3 into 21? Yes, I can convert my 3 into 21. So I will do 3 times 20, not 21, sorry. See, this happens when your brain works faster than your hand. Or 2 times 7. So I have 14 over 21. Okay, this is how you manipulate the fractions. So you have to check what is happening with either the numerator or the denominator which is given, and you have to do the same operation on the remaining entity. Now let's go into something called as rational numbers. Rational numbers are any numbers that can be represented into the form P over Q, where Q is never equal to 0. Now, what does this mean is, they should always be, you should always be able to represent a number into P over Q. Means, let's say I have 0.5. Okay, 0.5 can be written as 5 over 10, which is equal to 1 by 2. So I can still write it in form P over Q, where Q is not equal to 0. Now, what will happen when Q is equal to 0? So we cannot divide anything with 0. If we try to divide anything with 0, we'll get an undefined answer. So you have to always remember that your denominator should never be equal to 0. Numerator is 0, fine. You have no issues with it. But denominator can never be equal to 0. Okay, if you are getting a denominator which is equal to 0, that means something is going wrong when you are doing your operations. If you are getting denominator as 0, that means something is going wrong. So you have to always remember no 0 in the denominator, single 0. Okay, or let's say I have 0.3333. This is 1 by 3 in rational number. So this is still rational number. So how to find out whether a given number is rational or not? So you have to see if the decimal is stopping like this, or if the decimal is repeating itself and it is not stopping, because 3333 will keep on continuing. Okay, I just took three threes because it's very tedious to write so many threes at a time. But if it is continuing and repeating, or it is stopping somewhere, then it is a rational number, or it is in form P over Q. Now, rational numbers also include negative fractions. So minus 0.5 is also a rational number, which is minus 5 by 10, which is equal to minus 1 by 2. Now you have to always remember that we never keep our denominators negative. So if you get a fraction which is 5 over minus 3, you take this 3 and you translate it to 5 and it becomes minus 5 by 3. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Yeah, we have some questions in the chat. Oh, yes, Varsha. I'm very glad to do this stream. I love to do this stream. It's one of my, so I do it every Monday. So you can join me every Monday at 7:30 SG time, 7:30 p.m. SG time every Monday. If the stream is not going to happen, I will update it on my ImproMaths page. So you can like my ImproMaths page and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will keep on getting the updates. Okay. So next thing we are going to do is look at our nice. Okay. So we are done, almost done with manipulations of this one. So before we go there, there are few types of manipulations that we can do. So let's say I have a fraction 4 plus 3 over 6. Okay. So if I had just given you 4 plus 3, what would you do? You will write it as 7. So here also just write a 7 in the numerator. As I mentioned, the equivalent thing or the simplest form thing is only when you multiply or divide numerator and denominator with the same number. That doesn't apply to addition and subtraction. So let's say I have 5 minus 6 over 22. So what is minus? All of you have done integers, right? So even if we are entering fractions, your rules of integers don't change. So I have 5 minus 6, which is 5 plus 6 over 22, which is equal to 11 by 22, which is 1 by 2. Okay, so you have to solve the numerator as numerator and denominator as denominator. I'm going to take few more examples so that you feel. Now let's say you said, okay, 5 minus 5 times plus 3 over minus 9 times plus 2. Okay, so I have minus 18 over minus 15 over minus 18. Okay, minus 18. Now since my both numerator and denominators are negative, I can make them positive. Now why this happens? We can write minus 15 as minus 1 into 5 into 3 over minus 1 into 9 into 2. So I can cancel the minus ones. That's why I have, then I can do 3 times 1, 3 times 3. So actual simplest form of this fraction is going to be 5 by 3. So now here if you see, I should put brackets around plus 3 and plus 2 here because it's very confusing when you have so many symbols, and it's okay to get confused. As long as you know how to use your brackets properly, it's completely okay to get confused. Stop there, put brackets at the proper place, and your confusion will be solved in a minute. Okay, now let's say, now here they, in a question itself, I'm giving numerator is multiplied by 3 and the denominator is multiplied by 2. We didn't have a single fraction and then we tried to convert it into equivalent form. This was the original form of the question, so we are allowed to do this. If it was a standalone fraction like 5 by 3, then we have to multiply numerator and denominator with the same number. Next one, let's say we have 7 minus 4 over minus 12 plus 6. Okay, 7 minus 4 is 3, minus 12 plus 6 is minus 6. Okay, so if I see, if I try to reduce it, I will get minus 1 over 2, but I'm going to translate this sign to the numerator, so I'm going to get minus 1 by 2. We generally don't keep numerators negative, you have to remember this. Okay, is there anything else we can do? Yes, we can do comparison of fractions. Okay, before comparison of fractions, let's revise LCM quickly, because we will need that for actually no, we don't need LCM for comparison of fractions. We will cover LCM before we do operations on fractions. So let's say we do comparison. So I have two similar looking fractions. I have 5 by 7, okay, and I have 3 by 4. Now I have to decide which one of them is bigger and which one is smaller. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this 7, multiply over here, and I'm going to take this 4 and multiply over here. So I will get 20 and 21. So now it's easy. Which one is bigger? 21 is bigger. So my crocodile mouth is pointing towards the 21. So what it actually means is, your 5 by 7 is less than your 3 by 4. Okay. Let's see if we have any. Do we have any? No. Okay. So now, okay. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to take another one. So let's say I have 11 by 13 and 6 by 7. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. So it is 11 times 7 and 6 times 13. So it is 77 and 6 times 13 is 78. So your 77 is less than your 78. Now same thing we can do with mixed fractions also. Let's say I have 2 1 by 8 and I have 2 3 by 4. Now first step is to convert these into improper fractions. So 8 times 2 plus 1 is 16 plus 1 17 by 8, and 2 plus 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11 by 4. So now we are going to multiply again. So I have 68 and I have 88. Which one is greater? 88 is greater. So that means my 2 by 1 by 8 is less than 2 3 by 4. Okay, so what we are going to do today is, we are going to stop over here and we are going to absorb all this. You can come back to this video and leave me comments, your feedback, if it is too fast, too small, too much information, too less information. All kind of feedback is welcome, because in the end I need to improve this for you all people. So as much feedback you give me, the better it is. And remember that we do this every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Singapore time. If you want more updates, please log on to our channel and subscribe to our channel, and like our Facebook page, which is ImproMaths. Same name, ImproMaths, and same name on the YouTube also. The channel name is ImproMaths. Okay. Till then, bye. I'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.